Okay, and we are live. We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So today we are continuing our scenes. So yesterday we finished the scene from our very first scene for our shorts. We have 11 scenes total. We finished the creation of the actual images, and now we finished the images, and now we are working on the animation. So after that, now scene 2. Did anybody understand that? How about I try that again? What we finished yesterday was we finished the scenes, the images for the first scene and the animation. That is what I was trying to say. Does anybody? I have my pumpkin earrings on today. Tomorrow is Halloween. We will be here tomorrow, but I thought these were fun today. So anyway, yes. So to bring you up to speed, for those of you that are just joining, what we are working on is my brother and I have drafted a script, AKA Wesley wrote the script. I did not, can't take credit for that. And we are taking that script, creating the images, animating the images, and then I will be editing all of those images together. So I am taking you with us on this journey. Fran, thank you so much for joining, of creating this full short that we are putting together. So you guys get to see the behind the scenes look of how we are putting this together. Sandy, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I am going to flip my TikTok camera around, and YouTube, you're going to get to see what it looks like as well. I'm going to show you guys the animation that we did yesterday, and then we are going to continue moving forward with those. The puppy dogs are sleeping, so this is great. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to share my screen on YouTube here, and I want to share the flow so that you guys can see, and I'm going to flip this camera around. Patricia, thank you so much for being here. Sunshine, thanks so much for being here. All right, so hello, real close. We're going to go ahead and flip this around. I want you guys to see what we are working on here. So this is here we go. So we started off with our door. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little recap. Here's our door. And we're just zooming in. I'm not going to use the full 8 seconds of that. Our door opening. A little odd that we have the sun coming through, but that's all right. We won't use the whole thing. We're going to use all of this. Let's stop this animation. Okay, we're going to see our stockbroker coming through. After our stockbroker, here comes our bear. Terrifying. And then watch at the end. Watch at the end. All right, so I'm not necessarily going to use the bear. I'm not going to use the bear exploding like that, but that was kind of funny. So we are now going to go back to our script. I'm going to take our script. We're going to start working on scene 2. So scene 2 is from the camera angle. It's a side shot that shows a stockbroker, and he's jumping off the rooftop of the building of this. He's going to skydive into New York City. So we're taking scene 2 and we're going to build out the visuals for that. So if you haven't seen this done before, I'm happy you guys are here. You get to see this. I'm going to share this tab here on YouTube. So YouTube, you get to see, this is our scene 2 that we are building out. And TikTok, I just read that to you. I will show you that. We're going to copy scene 2. We're going to come over here to chat. I'm going to pop in scene 1 here, share this tab, and we are now working on scene 2 for our imagery. Here's the scene as a reminder. All right, and it had asked us a question. Would you like me to now write scene 2, image 1, stockbroker jumping off the rooftop, Gemini prompt? Yes, let's I'm just going to say, please write. And if anybody has any questions, pop it in here and I will go ahead and answer questions when I see them come up. Same thing on YouTube. If you guys have a question, pop it in here. I should see it on the chat. Let's see if I click this. Okay, there we go. I can see it now. Perfect. Thank you guys so much for joining. Mimi, super appreciate you guys being here. And okay, so please write scene 2, image 1, stockbroker jumping off the roof. Let me read this one more time. Camera angle, side shot that shows a stockbroker man jumping off the rooftop of the building as a skydive move where he has his legs and arms spread out, just like how a skydiver jumps out of planes. Okay, so please write, please write the scene for image or scene 2, image 1, stockbroker jumping off the roof. And what I am going to say as well, when we drafted, I'm going to scroll back up here in my thread, I am asking what questions does it have for me? So I need clarification to know what questions it does not know and it needs answered from me. Does that make sense? Did I articulate that clearly? Okay, so I'm scrolling back up here. I want to see how I phrased it the other day. Here we go. Almost there. Okay, so I asked, ask me any and all clarification questions you have about the second scene is what I'm going to say. Before you begin drafting, if you guys haven't done this, I recommend doing this because it really gives clarification on your scripting and on your prompting. So sometimes if you tuned in the other day, we had an image that wouldn't function properly. It kept trying to function, but it wouldn't function properly. The man kept running into the door instead of out of the door. And basically it was in the prompt. I had to adjust how I was prompting it. Before you begin drafting, ask me any and all clarification questions you have about this second scene. And let me see if I have any questions over here on YouTube while we are working on this. We're solid here. Any questions here? Does anybody have any clarification that they need? At least I think I can see the questions on here. Does anybody? Let's see. Okay, will they pop up? I'm going to start clicking around on things here. Okay, I think we're good. Nope. Okay, we're good. All right, great. Okay, so excellent call. Pause here, clarify. So camera filming, when you say side shot, so these, we're going to answer the questions here. So your TikTok, I'm going to flip you around here. YouTube sees this. We are answering some of these questions on here. So we're going to go through and answer these clarification questions because it really does help in our prompting. It makes a big difference in the final output. So when we say side shot, do we want the camera positioned level with the stockbroker so we see the side of his body as he jumps off or slightly below him to emphasize the height and scale of the fall? I'm going to say slightly below him to emphasize the height and scale of the fall. That's what we're going to say. So I'm literally just going to copy and paste it in here. All right, should the camera remain stationary on the rooftop as he exits the frame, or do we want it to track? We want it to track his motion slightly off the edge. Track his motion slightly off the edge. That's what we're going to say here because we want to kind of feel like we're falling with him. Is the bear still visible in the shot? Or should we focus only on the broker's movement? At this point, the bear doesn't matter. We saw the bear roaring, but the bear, we're done with the bear. We should focus only on the broker's movements and the rooftop edge at this point. For environment and lighting, do we want to keep the same day? Yes, keep the same midday lighting from scene 1. Let's see. Okay, so here's interesting. So it said we're going to keep the same midday lighting. But it is asking, do we want to adjust for a cinematic transition, perhaps a bit more sun flare or contrast as he leaps into open air? This is a good question. I'm going to say, let's do it. Let's slightly adjust. Keep the same midday light. No, we're going to say slightly adjust. That's what we're going to do. Slightly adjust here. And if anybody has any questions, PJ, thank you so much for joining. Sarah, Mrs. G, super appreciate you guys being here. And we are building out, if you just joined, what we are working on is we are taking our script. We are drafting out the prompts to create the images, and then we are going to animate those images. So we are using ChatGPT, we are using Gemini, Google's Gemini, and then we are using Flow to animate these images. And we are also using Flow for the sound effects as well. Okay, question number 5. Should the skyline remain visible behind him showing, or should the background open up mostly? No, we definitely need to keep the skyline should remain visible behind him. So skyline should remain visible behind him. And TikTok viewers, I appreciate you guys being here. We were using you on Restream, but apparently we need 1,000 followers. So we don't have 1,000 yet. So if you would follow our channel, that would be super helpful. And then you can see exactly what I'm seeing here instead of me having to flip you guys around. So Sarah, thank you so much for being here. Joe, Terry, Gary, super appreciate you guys. All right, question number 6. Again, we're talking about the environment and the lighting. Should there be any wind or paper debris trailing him? I mean, why not? He's jumping off a New York City building. Yes. 7. Does he still have his laptop in hand, or has he dropped it? At this point, he doesn't have it on his hand, but it is gonna magically appear later. So for now, we're not gonna worry about the laptop. No, he doesn't have it in his hand. We'll bring it back into the scene later during his free fall. We're going to say it's going to magically appear, and that's going to be okay. Magically appear later. Question 8. What is his expression and body language? Determined, panic, thrill-seeking, comedic, disbelief. We're going to say determined and a little thrill-seeking. I'm going to say a combination of determined, panic, and thrill-seeking is what I'm going to say. Combo of, right? We can have all of those emotions happening all at once. We're humans. There's a lot of emotions that happen, right? Okay, question number 9. Should his tie suit motion be exaggerated for? Yes. No, definitely exaggerated for cinematic flair. Exaggerated for cinematic flair. That's what we are saying right here. Number 10. Moving on to number 10. Okay. Tone and mood. Are we going for dramatic slow motion? Nope. Quick, chaotic fall. But he's going to fly. So I'm going to say not dramatic slow motion. Not dramatic slow motion. But regular falling speed. And his I want him to be wearing one of those free fall suits. The thing is, I'm not sure how to describe that. So we might have to play with that image a little bit, because I think he might magically appear in that, or maybe we keep him in his suit. Nope, we're going to have him in a suit. I think that's going to be a little too much because he's wearing his suit. So now he has his pack on, wearing his suit. Regular free falling speed, but he's going to fly through the buildings like, oh, it's a wingsuit. I just remembered it. Like he has on, oh, guys, this is what we're going to do. Like he has on a wingsuit under. Is that suit? Suit. That's sweet if I have an E. Don't judge on the spelling. Wingsuit under his business suit. but still keeps his business suit on. Interesting clothing this guy has on. Should this shot end mid-jump freeze frame style for the next cut, or should we capture the full motion of him clearing the edge and falling into an open space? Should capture full motion of him clearing the edge and falling into the open space. Definitely. 11. Definitely capture that. Okay, I think we've answered all of those questions. Okay, so here we go. So on YouTube, you are seeing this here. Yes, great. And on TikTok, basically, I've just answered all the questions into chat. We're going to see what the responses are, and then we're going to start dropping that image into, or those prompts into Gemini to create the images for them, and then we will get them animated. So last 2 lives ago, we didn't get the animations done. We did them yesterday. So today I'm aiming to get the images created and get the images animated. Okay, so let's see. We're just quickly reviewing. So let me flip you around here so you can see. Oh, by the way, here's also, in case you guys are wondering, bam, sleeping boy. And that's the only one up here. Oh, the other one's downstairs. Okay, wait, flip the camera around. We are double checking right here. So camera slightly below, tracking leftward as he jumps, subtle handheld K, focus, lighting, yes. Everything looks great. Great. So we are going to say yes. Go ahead and draft this. Perfect. There we go. Let's see. So if so, I'll write the prompt. Yes, write Gemini prompt. Scene 2, image 1, stockbroker jumping off. All right. So we're going to see how many prompts we get for how many images. The last time that we did, so when we did scene 1, we had 5 images. So it'll be curious to see how many we come up with here. I think we're only going to have 1 image, and we're going to animate that image, which will be good. So let's see. Perfect. Here's your Gemini prompt for scene 2. Realistic, behind him. Everything's there. Would you like me to move on to scene 2, image 2, where we transition to the front view of him in the free fall? Yes. I'm going to say yes. Move on to scene 2, image 2, where we transition to the front view of him in the free fall surrounded by the New York City. I don't think we need... Oh, is that in the script? Maybe I goofed. Let me look at the script real quick. No, that's not in the script. Okay, that's what I thought. Oh. Wah. It's not scene 2. It's scene 3. That's where it's talking about. So we transition to view him in the free fall surrounded AI. Okay, I'm going to pause on that because I need to read that scene real quick. So we're going to copy, and I'm going to pop over here to Gemini, and we're going to share this tab instead. Create here. I'm going to say create a realistic. Okay, here we go. So everybody on TikTok. Oh, sorry, Benjamin. I'm touching his feet. Okay. Let's see what we have here. All right. On YouTube, if you have any questions, or if anybody has any questions here, let me know. Brenda, thank you so much for joining. Lisa, Deanna, Roxanne, Cameron. Okay, so he has leapt off the building. I'm liking this. This is looking good. I'm liking this. Okay, so we're going to download this because we will need this. All right, we're going to flip this back around. Okay, moving on to scene 3. Okay, this is where, when it was asking, shall we move on to yes, Move on to scene 3. But before you draft the prompt, ask me any, let me share this tab. Ask me any and all clarification questions you have about this next image. Jazz, Anne, thank you guys so much for joining. Okay, we are asking, so moving on to scene 3, shifts from the physical rooftop action to mid-air free fall. The scene will carry a slightly more stylized cinematic flair due to the AI stock symbols, but still stay grounded in realism. Before I draft the prompt, here are a few clarification questions I need to ensure consistency and flawless setup for scene 3. Great. So we have another set of questions here. So for the front view, do we want the camera positioned directly in front of him facing his face, like he's falling toward the camera, or slightly angled upward from below, showing both him and the buildings behind him? I'm going to say we're going to do slightly angled upward to show more depth, because I don't want the camera to be so in his face that that's all we see. I want it to be so that it's interactive. Okay, should the camera stay locked in front of him as he falls, creating a stable cinema, or should it move dramatically with him? Let's see. I'm going to say it should move dynamically with him. Should move dynamically with him, following small parallax and drift to sell the free fall realism. That's what we're going to do. 3, do we want motion blur on the buildings to emphasize speed, or a crisp skyline? For the moment, we're going to say a crisp skyline to showcase the AI stock visuals clearly. 4, should the AI stock symbols appear as digital holographic ribbon banners wrapping buildings, animated ticker style? Ooh, I do like that. The animated ticker style, lights in the windows, or project. So let's do as animated ticker style lights in the windows. How entertaining is that? Yes. Okay. Do we want those logos to look realistic, integrated like part of it? No. Slightly stylized, hyper-real to signal. Yeah, slightly stylized. I think that's going to be good. Okay. Is the skyline still? Oh, yeah. No, definitely still. Definitely still New York City. How about I spell definitely correctly? There we go. Ooh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Excuse me. Should his pose remain spread eagle like a skydiver, or is he starting to angle downward, arms slightly bent as he controls descent? Ooh, that's a good question. We're going to say, okay, so here's the interesting part, because the next scene, zooming into him, spinning point becomes viewpoint while in free fall. Okay, so because the next scene, he's going to pull out his laptop while he's free falling. Again, obviously this isn't super real, but he's going to pull out his laptop. So for this point, I'm going to say he is still spread eagle. Pose remains spread eagle like a skydiver, because in the next one, the computer comes out. Does his expression change? No panic. He is not panicked. Let's go back to that image for half a second. Let's share this tab. We're looking, he's like, off the building. We're going to keep that. So let's keep, does his expression change? Nope, it doesn't here. Yes. Is his tie and suit still flaring dramatically, or does it begin to settle in the airflow? No, it definitely still flares dramatically. Definitely flares dramatically. All right, 10. We are almost done with these questions. Should the lighting stay midday? Yes. No, definitely consistent with scene 2. The lighting should stay consistent with scene 2 for sure. All this is happening so fast. There's no way we're doing a time lapse in the middle of free falling. Okay, do we want a touch of visual exaggeration, atmospheric streaks of sunlight? Let's see. Do we want to heighten surreal? No. No visual exaggeration. Any objects falling with him? No. Focus should be on remain clean on him and the city. That's what we're going to say. Okay, so I have our questions answered here. So for those of you that have just joined, we're going through our questions on chat, answering the questions, and then we're going to see what imagery we create from this. So this is our scene 3, and then we're going to do some animated. I think we're going to do, let's get the visuals for scene 2, 3, and 4, and that way we have at least 3 that we can animate. Okay, so scene 3. All right, it's asking, do we want to move on to scene 4? But first off, we're going to copy and paste this into our Gemini. So here we go. I'm going to switch you here so we can see. Okay, we've pasted. And we're going to go ahead and click go here. All right, let's see what we come up with here. So exciting. So our first image was here. He has leapt off the building. The perspective is a little off, but that's okay. If it ends up being not great, then I'll just redo it. But I think this is good for now. All right, so let's see here. Interesting. It did what I said, but he still looks like he's in the same spot. So we're going to go back. His face looks different. His face looked better here. We're going to go back. I want it to look like a different scene. I don't want this same scene here. So we're going to go back and adjust our prompt because it does need to look different. So this looks too similar. What I'm going to say is this looks too similar to our, let me do this too. Let me grab this here. Okay. Scene, I'm going to say scene 3 looks too similar to scene 2. He hasn't changed positions, meaning we still see the corner of the building. And most definitely, he has changed positions because he's free falling. Let's see. So I'm going to say, what adjustments do we need to make to the prompt so that it doesn't look like he's just jumped off the building? We want it to, we want it to look like he's made some distance from where he initially jumped off. Okay. Okay, let's see what it comes up with there. Cody, thank you so much for joining. Okay, so scene 3 looks too similar. And so this is the part of drafting out the scenes and the imagery that is the hard part, hard, if you will, right? Like you have to be really clear. And sometimes when you think you are really clear, it still doesn't give you what you want. Like you have to go in and you have to reiterate again. And that's okay. That's just part of this, right? So for those of you on YouTube, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in here as well. Okay, and let's see what we have here. Okay, so excellent observation. You're right. The current framing still visually anchors him to the rooftop. Yes, so it interprets it as the same jump movement rather than a true mid-air feel. So we need to explicitly communicate exactly 3 depth cues and 1 camera or reorientation that separates scene 3 from scene 2. All right, so here is our, I'm going to copy and paste, and I will flip it around so you guys can see it here. We're copying our adjusted. Okay, so I want to read this out loud so you guys can see this. Why are these changes going to work? So we're removing the rooftop edge, explicitly tells the model that he's away from the edge. So he has leapt off the building and he's away from the edge. So between the skyscrapers, below their tops, adds spatial separation, upward camera angle, reverses scenes to geometry, making the perspective clearly different. Parallax cues, buildings drift upwards, sells the downward motion visually. Midday reflections maintains the continuity between, but enhances the altitude realism. Great. Okay, so we are copying this. We're going to pop over here to Google Gemini, and we're going to paste it in here. Now, here's the part that is interesting. Sometimes I do open up a new tab because sometimes it just doesn't get it right in this same thread. So, or sorry, I'll open up a new thread. Now, the reason I like to keep it in this thread is if I can keep the continuity between the scenes, his face, his clothing, the same, it's very helpful. So if I can do that and keep it in the same thread, I do. Sometimes I will, okay. Let's see. Hopefully, yes. Okay. Guys, this is working. Okay. All right, we are there. Moving on to the next scene. I would say let's animate at this point, but I want to get at least a third one because the animations go much, well, I say they go quicker, but that's after the drafting part. Okay. And if anybody has questions, feel free to ask them. At least I think I can see the comments on here. I could be completely wrong, but at least I think I can see the comments on here. All right. So back to our scene. Scene 4. Okay. I'm going to say we're moving on to scene 4. Yes. Oops. Yes. Let's move on to scene 4. And I'm going to paste it just in case. Okay. Pan spins point of view. Okay. And I'm going to say, do you have any, or I'm going to say, what questions? Actually, what questions? And this part is the most tedious part of asking, what questions do you have? But I do it every time because I think it makes a difference. What questions or clarifications do you need for this next scene, if any? That should have been a question mark. I put a period, but that's okay. It'll still get it. I made my juice and I was like, poured it in here. And I was like, wow, that looks like a Bloody Mary. Clearly not, but it looks like one. It does have cayenne pepper in it, though. It's all sorts of craziness. Turmeric, cayenne pepper. Okay. There are questions. No surprise. Okay. Key questions and clarifications I need before drafting. For the initial pan, do we want it to begin from the same framing from front mid-air view, and then move closer to him, or should it orbit slightly around him before zooming in? I like the idea of it orbiting, but I think that's going to get too complicated. So we're going to say, Do we want to begin from the same framing? Yes. Yes. Begin from the same framing as scene 3, front view mid-air, and then move closer to him. Yes, that is what we're going to say, because I think that's what the intent was in the script. Okay, as it zooms in and spins to become POV, should the transition feel smooth and continuous, fluid camera rotation, or snappy and stylized? I'm going to say snappy and stylized. Why not? 3. Oh, the puppy is tooting. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. That's a smelly one down there. He had eggs for lunch. Once the POV is established, should we still see parts of his suit and or arms and hands framing the edges of the screen, or should it look like I think we should see parts of his suit or arms framing the edges of the screen. I think that's great, because I don't want it to just feel like just a camera flying through the air. That's not the whole objective. How do you want the laptop to appear? Magically. It magically materializes. Oh, you know what? No. As I say magically, I still think this is magically. He's going to pull it out from the inside of his suit for realism, but obviously, like, that's not. But we're going to say pull from the inside of his suit for realism. Yes. So he's going to be like, whoop, and pull that out. Okay. Should the screen interface like a realistic trading dashboard? Candlestick charts, red line dropping, or a stylized, exaggerated drop for dramatic effect. You know what? I'm going to say a stylized, exaggerated drop for dramatic effect. Example, bold red arrow plunging. Yes. Let's go with the dramatization. Should the stock tickers or the names appear on the screen as the line drops? Yes, let's keep the continuity. Keep continuity. Are you guys having so much fun? This is so much fun. Do we still see city buildings spinning around it? Well, I don't think they're spinning. He's just free falling past them. The buildings aren't spinning. He's simply free falling, flying past them. Yeah, I don't know why that. So I'm happy we asked this, because this is where I think sometimes it's called like the hallucination. Sometimes I think this is why it would be considered hallucinating, because I didn't give it any cues for spinning. So happy that we're clarifying here. So should the camera spin direction be defined for consistency across the, let me go back and check the script, because I don't think we said any. Oh, I think where it got the spinning from. Okay, I understand now. In scene 4, let me share this tab. So in scene 4, let me show you guys here. This is where it got the spinning from. So again, the devil's in the details, right? So we're on scene 4 right here. Oops, sorry. We're on scene 4 right here. So camera angle pans from the front view of the skydiver stockbroker, just zooming into him and spinning to become his point of view. This is the spinning that it got it from. So we don't want the buildings to spin. We just needed the camera angle to change. So while in the free fall, he pulls the laptop out of his coat, is what we've defined, to check his account and see that his stocks are going down as he is free falling. So that's where it got the spinning from. I'm glad that we clarified that, because the buildings, can you imagine the buildings spinning around you? No, that sounds terrible. Okay, so let's go back to sharing this tab here. We're back on chat. We're clarifying the questions on chat. So the buildings aren't spinning. He's simply free falling past the buildings. The camera went from his front perspective to his point of view. The spinning, I'm going to say the spinning confusion came from the description of the camera angle change. So we want, wow, Benjamin is tooting again down here. Holy cow. So YouTube, you won't be able to see it, but TikTok, this little boy, he's snoozing and a tootin'. Wow. Those are some stinky toots. Holy moly. Whew. Good thing there's no smell-o-vision. Wow. Smelly. Happy. He liked the eggs. So the buildings aren't spinning. He's simply free falling, flying past them. The spinning confusion came from the description of the camera angle changing from seeing him to his POV. That's what we're going to say. Yeah, I don't think we need to say any more there. I think that's where the confusion came from. Okay, so do we want to include motion blur streaks during the spin to sell the sense of speed, or keep it clean and readable? Yeah, let's include it. Why not? Let's just see what it looks like. Include motion blur streaks. Okay. And number 10. Yes. Again, checking the lighting and the tone. Keep the midday bright lighting consistent. Yes. I think so, yes. So it said, or do we want to slightly reduce the brightness to help the laptop screen glow more vividly? I don't think so. I think keeping it that way is fine. Okay. Last question. 11. Should the overall tone lean more cinematic, realistic, or slightly stylized? Exaggeration, exaggerated reflection, subtle. I think we're going to keep it lean more cinematic, realistic. That's where we're going to stay. And 11. Okay. All right. So write the scene for producing an image that perfectly captures the pan, zoom, POV transition with all the right energy and realism. Let's go. Okay. And then I'll flip you guys around so that you can see. Glow, thank you for joining. Dana, thank you for joining. Mr. Isaac, Rocketron, thank you guys so much for joining. Roxanne, thanks for being here. Super appreciate you guys. Okay, scene 4. It is drafting now. We are almost ready. Thank you so much, YouTube, for being here. And for those of you that have joined, we are drafting out the scenes for our short. We're popping over here to Gemini. I'm going to paste this in here. TikTok, I'm going to flip you around so that you guys can see what we're looking at here. Appreciate your patience as we're doing this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click here, get that going. And let me scroll up so you can see what we've generated. This is the one that we're going with, not that one. And for those of you that didn't see, we really kind of struggled with, I'm going to come up top here while we're waiting. This was our first one, and I showed you the animations of those earlier. The door opens, stockbroker runs out, but this one, this scene was challenging. Oh, here we go. Here's the dramatic shot. Ready? Dun, dun, dun. Huh. That's odd. So we've gotten part of the communication right, but somehow now we have 4 sets of hands. All right, we got to fix that. Landon, thanks for the like. Super appreciate you. Okay, we're gonna flip this around. We're gonna fix that. That was wow. Okay, we're gonna fix this. Let me pop this in over here. Okay, this is definitely a start, but we are not quite there yet. Okay, see the screenshot I shared. Screenshot attached. We're making progress, but we're not quite there. We're not quite there yet. We have the right perspective of the laptop, right? We've seen it come out, but I think I feel like we don't have that image of him pulling the laptop out. He's free falling. I think that's going to have to be the laptop coming out of his coat. That's going to have to be the animation in Flow. I think we're just going to have to remember to do it there. I will remember for sure. But his body, we got to fix this body. So this particular scene needs to be POV, and we're almost, but we should not see his upper body above the laptop. We should only see, oh, I just spit, sorry guys. We should only see from his perspective of his hands and the laptop. And then I'm going to say, what adjustments, if I could spell adjustments right, what adjustments do we need to make to the prompt to accomplish this? All right, we're going to see what it says here. So let me flip you guys around here so you can see. All right, let's see what we come up with here. That was really funny. Oh, Landon, thank you so much for your like. Super appreciate you. Linda, thank you so much for being here. Okay, perfect catch. You're absolutely right. Right now, the image reads third person over the shoulder shot, not a true, needs to be clear. Okay, so here's the revised prompt. And this before, emphasize inside his eyes, not outside his body, only his hands, sleeves, laptop, building motion. Okay, remove of his body reference, avoid meeting heat. Right, okay, got it. Okay, so now we're going to copy this and we're going to pop this into our Gemini, share this tab. On YouTube, you can see this, and here we go. Okay, so while that's drafting, let me take you back up here to show you where we were at. So again, these images here we struggled with, not that one. That one was spot on. This guy, man, he just kept running into the stairs. I needed him to flip around and run out of the stairs, and that I didn't get until yesterday. The bear, he was perfect. This was my second attempt at the bear here. Hold on, I know it's going to show us what it created. But this was what I wanted here for the bear, and we got him roaring, so that was great. Okay, let's see where we're at. Yes! Okay! Woohoo! We got it! Yay! Okay, so now we have our 3 images. Obviously, there's still more of the scene of the script to do, but we have enough to go ahead and animate them now. So we are going to do that. And I believe I have downloaded, let me double check. I have downloaded, yes, those 2. And let me make sure I have, okay, yeah, jumping off the building, his beginning to free fall. Bam, we have the right perspective. Okay, so now we are going to, let me stop sharing this. We're going to pop over to Flow. And Shanae, thank you so much for being here on YouTube. Appreciate you. And I do see the comments, so it is working. And thank you on TikTok for being here. Super appreciate you guys. Okay, and okay, now we are in Flow. So let me share this screen here. Let's see. Oh, I need to click the sharing screen button. 1 second. Share screen, Flow. Bam. There we go. Okay. So for those of you that have not done, and TikTok, I'll flip you around then. For those of you that have not worked in Flow before, it works. So this was our first one. It kind of works in the opposite direction. So it builds on top of each other. So we started here, door opening, which when you guys see the final one, I put this all together. I don't think I'm going to use this scene. Maybe I'll use just a quick blip of it, but not a whole lot. we're going to use, bam, the stockbroker coming out, bear roaring. And now we're going to use the same thread of our stockbroker and we're going to add in. So let me give you a quick rundown, and TikTok, I can show you this while I'm giving a quick rundown of this. So let me flip the camera here. These are important to take note of. So you have text to video, frames to video, ingredients to video. We are using frames to video. This is also important. So when you come over here and you look at your aspect ratio, your outputs, and your models. So I am using, these two are going away. I'm using the fast version. One thing I want you to notice, the VO3 here, right? If you look down here, this tells you how many credits you're going to use on the fast versus the quality. So if I clicked quality, bam, this goes to 100 credits. So if you do need that, I would say go ahead and use the quality, but realize that you're going to use your credits faster. I haven't found the need. This does, to me, such a good job that I don't need to use the quality. The fast works beautifully. And the beta audio, I actually think it's pretty darn good. I have been using one output. If for whatever reason you don't prefer one, you want it to give you two options, I have found instances that it is a good use to have more than one output, but in this instance, we're just doing one. And then on this one, we're all in portrait. This is new as just a few weeks ago. So maybe about the last month or so. I could be off on the timeline, but it had been just landscape. Super cool that it's portrait now. So here's what's kind of great about this. When I add in the ingredients, so I'm going to upload the ingredients here. Let me upload. Let me grab my downloads. Come over here. Let me do date added. And let's go in order. I wonder if I can add, let me flip you around for a second. I need to put the camera down. I wonder if I can add all three of these at once. Just kidding. Nope. Answered my own question. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Cannot add all at once. Only can add one at a time. So that's fine because we're only doing one at a time. Let me flip you around because I want you to see this. When you add this in, okay, it was like, hey, do you want this in landscape or do you want this in portrait? So we want to change it to portrait. Now, one thing I want you to notice, look, Gemini puts this little watermark down here. We don't have to take the time to go back and edit this out. Normally I would, but you don't need to because it's going to get cropped out here anyway. All right, so I'm going to say yes, crop and save. And now it's going to upload there. Let me flip you around. Okay, and I'll show you as we continue on what that looks like. Okay, excellent. Now, what I'm going to do is we need the prompt for this. So we are going to go back to, I'm going to go back to chat, same thread, and we're going to say, hey, we're ready to animate scenes 2, 3, and 4. Those are the images that we've created. So now we need the flow prompt for these. Okay, and let me see how we are doing on time. How are we doing on our time? I think we are doing good on our time. Okay, I should be able to see here. I don't see the time. Anyway, okay, that's fine. Let me come back over here. So sharing this screen, you can see here. Before we move forward with creating more images for the following scenes, let's pause. And oh my Lord, the puppy is farting again. Wow, stinky boy. Okay, let's pause and draft the flow prompts to animate. Oh, that one was strong enough. He got up. He was like, whoa, that smells. This guy. Let's pause and draft the flow prompts to animate these images. We'll start with scene 2, but I'm look at the attached images for reference. All right, so let me add in these images here so that it can see. Bam, there they are. What questions? Again, going back to the what questions do you have to ask? What questions do you have, but not the ha ha ha, do you have for, have you guys ever done that? Go to type in the HA and then it populates with the ah ha 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 ha. Oops. What questions do you have about creating these prompts? Okay, let's see what it says. And let me pop over here and see if we have any other questions that I can answer here. All right. How are we doing on TikTok? Thanks so much for being here, guys. I actually didn't take a quick close look at what time we started. So, oh, here, I found the time. Woohoo! We only have a couple minutes left. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to say tempo and pacing, environment. Okay, I'm going to answer. We only have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to answer these questions as fast as I possibly can. And then I will show you the animations that we create for these tomorrow if I don't get them done today. Okay, so let's see. Before we move forward, tempo and pacing. Do we want the motion to stay consistent, fast-paced from start to finish, or have a quick beat of slow motion? Right. You know what? If we go over an hour today, if you guys want to hang here with me, I'm happy to hang here and finish these. I just know on TikTok, I can't repost this if it's over an hour. So that was why that's my time stop of 1 hour, and we're at 56 minutes already. So let me answer these questions. So for tomorrow, I think what I'm going to do for you guys then is we'll create the image and then animate the image. That way we go bam, bam, and we'll go back and forth instead of batching them. That way you guys can see it quicker. Tempo and pacing. Do we want the motion to stay consistent, fast-paced from start to finish, or have a quick beat of slow motion right as he clears the edge? Oh, guys, that's so great. So for scene 2, I like that. We're going to do that. So for tempo and pacing, we are going to, for tempo and pacing, let's have a quick beat of slow motion right as he clears the edge before picking up speed again. Yes. Because why not? That sounds cool. Okay, camera transition. Should each image cut be a hard whip cut or a fluid blend, slight motion blur? No, it's going to be a hard cut. No cross dissolves, no seamless continuity. No, this is bam, 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 bam. Quick hard cut, quick. Oh boy, quick hard cut. There we go. Okay, TikTok, do you want to hang out with me here for a little bit longer? Because if so, then I will stay on to get these animated because we are right coming up to our hour, and that's the kind of cutoff time for me to repost this. But if you guys want to hang here with me, I will hang here and we will keep going on this because I would love for you guys to see the animation of these 3 images today. Okay, so camera realism, same subtle handheld feel as scene 1 or steadier aerial floating to set the floating motion? No, I think camera realism. Same subtle handheld feel as scene 1. Okay, because that did come out really good. Should we maintain the same wind and ambient city sound bed through all 3 shots or adjust between them? I feel like, so has anybody skydived? Like I've skydived before. It just all sounds loud to me anyway, but I've only done it once, so maybe that was why. I think let's just say same wind sound and ambient city sound bed through all 3 shots, because all of these he is flying through the air. I do not think that any of that is going to change until we hit the ground, and we're not hitting the ground, we're going to land. Okay. Do we want to emphasize and scale the altitude changes? For example, adding a sense of skyline rising? Yes. Yes. Oh, there it is. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Okay. We actually, oh, did I extend it? I think I did. I think I extended it. Okay. We're still good on TikTok. Okay, great. And Emphasize scale and altitude changes. Yes. So I'm just going to clarify yes. And then I'll get one animation in, and then I'll finish the animations and I'll show you those tomorrow. Is the stockbroker's jump meant to read as one continuous movement, door leap, and then yes, okay. Or can there be a micro time skip between the rooftop and free fall? That's a good question. I'm gonna say meant to read as one continuous movement. Meant to read as one continuous movement. Yep, that's it. That's the one. Okay, during the second image where he's clearly away from the door, do we want the camera to tilt slightly upwards? Yes. So the camera tilts slightly upwards to show the distance from the ledge. Okay, 8. And the reason I think these are so important is because in the flow, like it's important to have all of those details in here for the animation process, which I'll flip you around and show you in just a second. Are we keeping this mostly realistic wingsuit flapping, faint city noise, or should we introduce subtle score cues, rising whoosh, sting when he hits the building? I don't know what the sting is when he hits the building. He's not here. Oh, exits. It doesn't say hit. It says exits. I think wingsuit flapping, faint city noise. Well, maybe we should hear what it has for the skew or for the score cues. I think keeping this, okay, decided. Mostly realistic, wind, suit flapping, faint city noise, skydiving. Okay, 9. Should we reserve any impact audio? Yes. Oh, no, I say no. No for this one. We don't need to reserve the door slamming. That's happened already. We're done with that. Yes, format is fine. One structured flow bot. Yes. So this is important. A couple days ago, we established that it is important to have information for each movement. So that's what that just asked. Oh, did I answer that one? Oh, I should have said yes to 11, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to flip you around here so we can see. And okay, we're going to craft it. Here we go. Copy code. Copy. Pop over here to flow. Whoops, wrong one. Flow, share. We have our guy down here. So again, to review, we have frames to video. We have our guy. We're doing VL fast. Popping it in here. And bam. Gilbert, thank you so much for joining. Crystal, thank you for being here. All right, and that is going, and we're at 7 seconds here. And this is usually where I will pop over and take a look at our next script, but I think we need to wrap this up here so that we can publish. And I want to show you guys what this animation looks like. 20% done, which it'd be great if I could fast forward this for you. Okay. Lori, thank you so much for being here. Goggins, thanks for being here. I'm going to botch this up. Shalia, thanks for being here. Travel by Kimmy, 37%, guys. And this is usually where let's actually go back let's use some time. I'm going to share this tab. We're going to pop over here, flip this camera around, and let's get drafting on our next prompt here. And then I'll show you the animation as soon as we are done with this one. Oh, hey, yay, it's ready. Copy code. Okay, let me pop this in here. Frames to video. I'm going to add in our guy. Upload. Okay, this should be our next one. Here he is. Bam. Open him up. Crop and save. Okay, so for those of you that have joined here on TikTok, let me flip you around. And okay, we can see our guy here. Let's get this one going. And let's watch this one. Let's see how good this is. Ready? Okay. Okay, this is great. Yes! Yay! Oh, sorry. Here we go. Yes, look at this. This is so good. Oh, I'm so happy with this. Okay, if we can get the next one done, then I can show you guys. Okay, I'm going to flip you back around. Let me grab the next cue here. Okay, copy, paste here, add in, upload. This is our visual of him holding the laptop. And I think that's this one. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Crop and save. Okay, let me flip you back around. Guys, I think I'm going to be able to show you all of the animations today. Okay, so this one's ready to go. Oh boy, this little boy down here is tooting up a storm. Whew, good thing we don't have smellophone. Okay. All right. We have that. This one's still going. We've lost his parachute. That's okay. We have it here. I think I might go back and tweak it so that we can see that has magically appeared so that it stays consistent in here. I think I might go back and add that in. But let's see if we can have this one visually appear up here so that you can show you guys. And we're almost there. So we have taken the next 3 images and crafted them out. So if you are here on YouTube, thank you so much for joining, everybody. I appreciate you being here with me today. And okay, great. Here we go. Ready? Oh, well, I'm probably only going to use that part of it. I'm going to use this part only. I'm going to cut him out on the bottom. Yep. Well, that didn't exactly work with him. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I will see you here tomorrow. We're going to do about the same time tomorrow as well. So we're going to continue on our scenes. I'm going to make some adjustments on these ones. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube. And we will see you guys tomorrow.